Have you ever heard of Sunset Boulevard, the street where neon lights hide Hollywood's darkest secrets? Just turn into the Garden of Allah, and you step into a world of all-night parties, strong drinks, drugs, affairs, and secret same-sex relationships behind velvet curtains. This decadent paradise was built for stars to escape the public eye, yet it also concealed countless scandals that studios would pay handsomely to keep quiet. Today, we're diving into 10 female Hollywood icons closely linked to the Garden of Allah, powerful, glamorous, and mysterious women whose private lives, wild parties, and untold secrets are about to be revealed for the first time. First, we cannot skip Ginger Rogers, the Queen of Dance of 1930s Hollywood, famous for her twirling legs and radiant smile on stage. But behind that glittering image, Ginger was a complex woman who knew how to embrace freedom and the pleasures Hollywood tried to hide. The Garden of Allah, the luxurious bungalow complex where stars gathered, saw Ginger at countless wild all-night parties. Champagne flowed like rivers. Jazz music echoed from living rooms to open terraces. And in that space, moral boundaries vanished. Ginger didn't just dance, she was the center of secret relationships, stolen glances full of desire, and affairs the studios worked hard to conceal. Rumor has it, she was often spotted leaving parties with a look both tipsy and furtive, sometimes with temporary lovers the public would never know about. Untold scandals, hidden liaisons with famous colleagues, all painted a side of Ginger Rogers far from the innocent image audiences adored. In the Garden of Allah, she was both a powerful star and a woman living fully in moments Hollywood lights could never reach. Next, we turn to Maureen O'Sullivan, the beloved face of Jane in the Tarzan films, whose on-screen innocence belied a far more complex private life. When Maureen stepped into the world of Hollywood and into the Garden of Allah, she quickly discovered that the glittering lights of fame hid a darker, wilder reality. The bungalows were a playground for stars to escape public scrutiny, where champagne flowed freely, music pulsed through the night, and affairs, both whispered and scandalous, were a regular part of the scene. Though naturally more reserved than some of her peers, Maureen could not avoid being drawn into this whirlwind of glamour and temptation. She attended secretive parties where conversations and connections were charged with unspoken desire, witnessing and sometimes participating in liaisons that the press never reported. Studio executives worked tirelessly to maintain her pristine image, but behind closed doors, Maureen navigated a labyrinth of relationships, navigating attraction, flirtation, and discreet romances. The Garden of Allah was both a refuge and a stage, giving her freedom to explore sides of herself Hollywood rarely saw, and creating a private world of intrigue, desire, and whispered scandal that only a few insiders would ever truly understand. The third star we turn to today is Clara Bow, Hollywood's iconic it girl of the 1920s and 30s, whose magnetic charm and fearless personality made her the ultimate symbol of sex appeal. Unlike the reserved Maureen, Clara thrived in the wild, decadent atmosphere of the Garden of Allah. These bungalows became her playground, where champagne flowed endlessly, jazz music filled every corner, and the rules of propriety seemed to vanish. Clara was the life of every party, at the center of playful seductions, whispered flirtations, and sometimes more daring liaisons with fellow stars. Photographers and gossip columnists may have tried to capture her, but Clara's charm and wit often kept the most scandalous moments just out of reach of the public eye. She wasn't just attending parties, she was shaping them, turning every gathering into a spectacle of allure, desire, and whispered intrigue. Her presence at Garden of Allah cemented her reputation as a symbol of Hollywood's glamorous yet dangerous underbelly, a place where desire, ambition, and secrets intertwined in the most intoxicating ways. Speaking of the Garden of Allah, we cannot overlook Tallulah Bankhead, whose voice, presence, and unrestrained charisma made her unforgettable in Hollywood circles. Tallulah wasn't just a guest, she was a force of nature in the sprawling bungalows, where every party became a stage for daring behavior and whispered scandals. Known for her bold flirtations, she navigated affairs both heterosexual and same-sex with unapologetic confidence, often turning casual gatherings into spectacles of desire and intrigue. Champagne, jazz, and laughter blended seamlessly with secrets and hushed conversations behind closed doors, creating an atmosphere where rules dissolved and curiosity ruled. Tallulah's reputation as a fearless, audacious star meant that wherever she appeared, the Garden of Allah instantly transformed into a playground of scandal and glamour. Her presence epitomized the intoxicating mix of power, beauty, and reckless abandon that defined the private lives of Hollywood's elite. A world of indulgence the public only glimpsed through rumor and innuendo. Next, we come to Greta Garbo, the famously enigmatic and distant star, whose private life was as mysterious as her on-screen presence. At the Garden of Allah, Garbo found a rare sanctuary, a place where she could escape the relentless public gaze and experience a freedom rarely afforded to Hollywood royalty. Unlike the more flamboyant stars, Greta observed as much as she participated, moving quietly through the bungalows, catching whispered secrets, stolen glances, and private encounters that never reached the tabloids. She indulged in discreet liaisons and subtle flirtations, engaging only on her own terms, maintaining the aura of untouchable glamour. Her rare appearances at parties left an indelible mark, creating an air of intrigue and fascination. In a world where every action could become scandalous news, Garbo mastered the art of invisibility while still participating in the intoxicating mix of desire, power, and secrecy that defined the Garden of Allah. She was the ghostly heart of Hollywood intrigue, a legend who lived among the chaos but remained untouchably mysterious. Following Greta Garbo, we naturally turn to Marlene Dietrich, the glamorous and audacious European star whose presence could dominate any room. While Garbo moved like a shadow through the Garden of Allah, Dietrich arrived like a storm, radiating confidence and allure. The bungalows became her stage, and every party a showcase of her wit, charm, and calculated seduction. Rumors swirled about her discreet liaisons with VIP guests, late-night rendezvous, and playful flirtations that blurred the lines between performance and reality. Champagne flowed, music pulsed, and Dietrich effortlessly commanded attention, turning even casual gatherings into spectacles of intrigue and desire. She embodied the intoxicating blend of glamour, power, and rebellion that defined Hollywood's private world, leaving a trail of whispered stories that studio executives could never fully control. In the Garden of Allah, Marlene wasn't just attending the party, she was the very heartbeat of it, a living legend whose secrets were as tantalizing as her public persona. Following the dazzling presence of Marlene Dietrich, we turn to Dorothy Dandridge, the groundbreaking African-American actress whose beauty and talent made her an icon in Hollywood. At the Garden of Allah, Dorothy navigated a world both intoxicating and treacherous, where luxury, parties, and hidden desires mingled with the harsh realities of racial prejudice. The bungalows were her refuge and her stage, where champagne flowed and the music never stopped, yet every move was carefully measured. She witnessed and sometimes engaged in secret liaisons, whispered flirtations, and risky encounters that could never make it into the press. Dorothy's elegance and intelligence allowed her to command attention without compromising her dignity, while still participating in the private, scandalous world of Hollywood's elite. In the Garden of Allah, she balanced grace and desire, pioneering a path that few could tread, leaving behind stories of glamour, intrigue, and ambition that few outsiders would ever glimpse. Finally, we arrive at Louise Brooks, the rebellious bob-haired star whose daring personality and fearless independence made her a true icon of Hollywood's golden age. At the Garden of Allah, Louise found the freedom that the rigid studio system often denied her. The bungalows became a playground for late-night parties, flowing champagne, jazz music, and whispered encounters that blurred the lines between desire and discretion. Unlike some of her contemporaries, Brooks embraced the chaos fully, participating in secret liaisons, fleeting romances, and the intoxicating games of flirtation and power that defined the private lives of Hollywood's elite. She moved through the garden like a force of nature, her charm and defiance leaving a lasting impression on everyone who crossed her path. While cameras captured only the polished star on the screen, behind closed doors, Louise lived a life full of intrigue, risk, and liberation. Her presence at the Garden of Allah was the perfect culmination of a world where glamour, scandal, and freedom intertwined, a final, unforgettable note in Hollywood's symphony of secrets.